Friday. So I am kind of playing solo here. So we're going to see if I can, maintain this recording at the same time of going live. But I was pulling out scrapbooking stuff and I thought, you know what, I should just go live. I should scrapbook with my fellow scrapbookers as much as, we can. But really though, the kids are like away. And what's the saying? When the cats are away, the mice will play. Am I calling myself a mice right now? I think I am. I think I totally am calling myself a mice.
The kids, they're the wild cats.
Yeah, the kids are the ones that really control this house, No, really, honestly. So it's just kind of, just random live, but we're going to dive in and create something together. I don't know about you. If you're not doing anything or you find yourself just scrolling, we'll stop, right? And let's do something productive. At least that was my kind of thought process, is that, I want to actually create something. I want to bring it into existence, right? And of course, I'm just loving these hexagons. We just launched this at the beginning of March. Months are just flying by, guys. But we unvaulted hexagons. And I'm going to use them because there are just so many ways that you can use hexagons. And now that they're kind of fresh on the mind, I just have the itch to use them. And this is actually the new packaging. I was just looking at it because mine don't look like that. Mine are all the way from, gosh, what was this, 2020 when we first released them in the Kiwi Club. And then, of course, we unvaulted them and they got like a fresh new packaging in that case. So that's kind of fun. Different types of packaging for different types of releases, I guess, or times of releases. And I was looking at these sketches too. Look at how fun these sketches are on the back. I mean, seriously, there's just so many options with Hexagon. And not even that, like I should take us on a field trip, maybe later, over to the Facebook group and in the community. Just so many of you guys have been also sharing your ideas and your inspiration and your finished pages using hexagons and just the Kiwi Club kit and other things this month. And I think that's also contributing to my yes, I need time in the scrapbook room. So yay that the cats are away because I'm ready to let's bang a page out, shall we? So I just got to the point where I started to pull out my stuff. So we're just going to walk through the beginning to the end and I'll tell you what project I have in mind.
Hi, Bonnie.
Hello, Bonnie. Yeah, David did help me get live, but he's going to disappear and then I'm going to have to maintain this because he's
got to get the last cat out of the room so she can really play.
Well, he's got his own Friday activity and that's kind of also what it was. Like, okay, the kids are gone. He's like, I'm going to go do this game. And I was like, then I'm going into my scrapbook room. So that's my happy place for sure. It gets used, this happy place of mine, not as much as we all would like, right? But I do every few times a month. So this is special and random, like I said, live, but I'm excited to scrapbook. So again, just let's go grab something. Hopefully you have a layout kit ready to go. Gosh, if you do, just go grab it. Let's just randomly see what we can come up with. You could just take one of these. Here, I'll flip this over here in a moment. You can just take one of these ideas from hexagons or something to create with. But okay. How are you guys? I'm so glad that some of you guys are jumping on Friday night. You're home. Hopefully, I'm not the only one just at home. Actually, I like to be home on Fridays. I don't know if it's the season of life or what, but I'm really, really happy. So you guys are awesome. Okay. Let me see. I am going to thank you. All right. I figured it out. All is well. It's new, but I'm loving this new. I hope you guys are loving this new setup because I'm loving it. It's just a little bit of a learning curve. And I just realized these lights are a little warm and I'm wearing this sweater and I might need to put my hair up. Hold on. Let me find a pencil. It's getting a little warm up in here, or maybe that's just the season of life I'm in as well. I don't know, guys. This is no joke. You guys can mourn with me, I guess, or you could tell me what I should expect in some ways too. All right. Gwen, I miss you. I thought about it and I was like, why didn't I just go? But life, I mean, literally the day just barely settled down. I hope you guys are having fun. I might just have to, I don't know. Tomorrow's busy, unfortunately. I know. Life, sometimes the weekends just don't match up. Is there a way to get a copy of the back of the new packaging? Oh, Melanie, I don't know. Maybe. What I can do, how about I do, because the other one, it has actually different sketches on the other background one. So some of these sketches we actually do have in the Kiwi Club Digital Idea book too, Melanie, I think. I don't know. They might be different ones. I'm not 100% sure. Okay, hold on. This night light is a little glaring. Maybe it's just the plastic. All right, guys. So Melanie, email support at Kiwi Lane. We will, we'll do our thing and I'll see. It's a good random question. I love your guys' questions that you guys ask because I'm like, oh yeah, that's valid. That's a good thought. So I thought really quickly before I dive into my next hexagon project, I thought I would show this one. I think I shared this one already, but this is in the Kiwi Club and I just had it on my table to, add the QR code and other things. But I love this page. Like, it just makes me so happy. I just love it. But overall, the structure of this layout with the hexagon over here and the 4 pictures inside of hexagon, and then the borders kind of, anchoring and framing the patterns in the papers, and just I wanted this to also be, of course, the bride here. So I matted her picture, but not the other one. So I did that intentionally. Anyways, it just makes me happy. It's such a happy page. So fun. So I'm going to put that aside for a moment, make some space for my next project. Actually, move that to the side too. I had that out from the Picture Perfect event for Kiwi Club today. And this one, I had pulled together this pack, but this pack was a little different than some of my other, go-to layout kits that I, share as we talk about the mix and match. Where did I put that? This lovely guide here, this mix and match. If you don't have this yet, I always mention it because this just talks about how to mix and match your pattern papers and put them into to-go layout kits so that when you have nights like this, that you can pull on a kit. So this one's not technically like the 5 to 6 sheets that we often share, but I did have it all stored in this bag. This was just some random patriotic 4th of July pattern papers that I had. But in this case, I have these pictures of my grandpa from World War II. And I had these, that I'm like, oh, I want to get to at some point. But this kit it does have 2 backgrounds in here. Let me see but it also I didn't really have, look at all these random scraps of paper that I had. So in this scenario, I literally was just like, I'm going to throw it all into this bag. And that's kind of how I took those scraps of paper. They're kind of all the same thing. Like I said, patriotic and 4th of July or things like that. Right. And then I just added these 2 other background sheets because your backgrounds are always helpful to have gathered. And I did have this one full sheet and then all these scraps of paper. So this is what I'm going to be scrapbooking with. I'm going to transform it. I mean, I don't know yet. Maybe I have to pull on something else, but this is my kit that I had together at least. And I had these pictures in mind. So yay, I'm that far because you know what? Honestly, just knowing, I have these pictures in this paper already planned. I love it when I go to a crop, which again, I'm really sad. I should be with you guys. I totally get it this weekend. Because when I have packs like this together, then I have these projects that I can just pull out. And or in cases like this where it's a Friday night and I'm going to call my kids the cats now and the cats are away. They're going to laugh at that. I'm going to have to tell them that. Then I get to play. I get to play when the cats are away. So let's dive in. So with that note, having those decisions with some sense of paper in hand reach and pictures in mind, and then I'm just going to start playing, right? That's a great framework. And it's always nice to have this process that I can depend on. And so I hope that you guys find a lot of confidence and also guidance in that as well, because it makes a huge difference. Like I said, I probably would have, I don't know, if I didn't have some sense of projects when I'm like, oh, let's do that one, I probably would have been like, oh, I'll just go watch a movie or something tonight. Right. But it really helps in the evening mindset, because our minds need a little bit of some of that pre-work done. So I'm glad that that pre-work was done for me. Now, to get my mind going in this evening with some kind of Kickstarter here, I'm glad that I have that one idea, meaning hexagons is my focus as far as my desire goes, as far as a design idea in mind. I could, I'm not kidding. These sketches on the back. Oh, let me just flip that over really fast. I'm happy for you guys to take screenshots if you want of that. Is that here, just in case, so you have them. I'll hold it still for a moment. I'm looking at these thinking, I love them all. I guess the thing from my layout, which kind of does make it easier for me tonight, I will say, is that I just have these 3 pictures. So I might just play to create my own really quickly. And so I'm going to move those to the side. We're just going to play with some of these designs on this background and see what we can come up with. Pamela, I don't see you on here, but Pamela did this adorable page. I don't know if you guys saw it in the community, but it was so cute. I mean, there was just, like I said, some really cute ones. This hexagon it's a lot. You have like 8 nesting hexagons, and typically you can use them similar to rings, right? And I always just like to point that out because it does play into, as far as how it is designed, the feature, and also plays into how maybe you would create with this set. Anyways, they just keep going. They just keep going. I don't think I need to pull them all out, but again, Hexagon's only out for a limited time, guys. So I just want to make sure you guys are aware of that. If you don't have it, it really is a great, like, go-to, like, multi-use set. It's just a really nice one to have in just multi-purpose all around. So anyways, so I think what I'm going to do, honestly, I said 3 pictures, but in some ways it's like wigging my mind out because I'm like, only 3 pictures. I'm not used to that. And so I might just use, I'm so used to grabbing my photo sets. So I'm going to do that. One is a 5x7. And these other ones, this one's kind of trimmed down. So it's a little smaller. It actually looks like it's maybe close to a 5x4. Huh. So maybe what I'll just do is, so that's not going to be hard, but I do want to consider my pictures a little bit. So that's why I am pulling on my photos. Even though I have 3 photos, this still helps me not overthink it, which is why I was like, no, I'm not going to, I'm still going to go through my steps, and my photos are definitely part of that step. Okay. Let me try this. I wanted to make sure that I was okay with this one being trimmed down. These pictures are like copies of copies that I kind of stole from my uncle at one point or another. I think I stole them from my uncle so that I could have them in my, a copy of my own, because photos like this, when it comes to family history, I don't know if you guys ever have felt this way, but it's like somebody gets the original and then everybody else needs copies. And so I'm always like, I just want a copy. Like, I don't want the originals get lost. And then I don't know whose child of whose child ended up getting the pictures. So when my grandfather passed away last year, it's just of age. He lived a really good life. Like, he was 100, and anyways, so really good life. And anyways, I was like, I want a few pictures so I can do a page of him. So I'm glad I did that. Honestly, maybe we just do that where we just go across. I love a good cross, but we'll just keep playing for a moment. The other thing with the scraps of paper that I do have kind of in mind to do is what Linda did in the Kiwi Club PDF. I don't know if you guys saw that, but she kind of mocked in the inside of the hexagons. I think Beth Cooper also did it in a layout she did in the community. And so, of course, that inspired me. I want to give it a try and see what I can come up with. Okay. I'm going to put these in a tray really fast. I was going to put them away, but I need a little structure. So I'm going to try to keep a little structure around my work desk here and try not to miss your guys' comments if you guys have any. I was thinking about showing those things, but then I'm a little nervous to play around with anything on this web thing, just in case I mess something up. I have a little anxiety from, I guess, past ones where noise is going out or video is going out, but I think we've figured some things out here. Hopefully video and sound and all of that is a-okay. Okay, I think what else I need is, let's see, Patriarch. So I want to pull out my handy dandy phone here, and I'm going to go to the DT checklist and search star. Let me search star. There we go. I was thinking some stars would be great. And I was just thinking what sets have stars in them. Oh, there's this one. I like that little cute round star. That's from Freedom. That was a older set again. There we go. So we're still working on this, you guys, and you can't really see it. I'm sorry. But it does now say, like, if you do the search, it'll tell you themed and accessory. And then the KC right there is for Kiwi Club. So as far as the tab organization, I just want to point that out because for me, I separated them by themes in my accessories. But some of you guys mentioned you like to keep all your Kiwi Clubs together. So it hopefully accommodates both. But it's still being worked on the app. So give it a little bit more time. But it looks like a few of those updates are hitting. So that's nice, which is great because now I can go to my theme sets and I'm going to add into my hexagons an option here. Let me find my themed. There we are. Okay. This one right here. I don't know. I just like that one. It's kind of got that army military vibe, you know, so I think that's kind of really fun. I also really like that one. I don't know. I'm just going to pull them out. We're going to explore. Actually, let me just put it in my tray and put this back for a moment. I'm trying to think what else option-wise. There are some other good options here. It looks like Adventure is always a great one. Actually, I just had that one out the other day. I was working on it. I do love these hearts or stars. Stars, hearts, stars too. And then there's like gears in here, so you can go really various ways, but I don't know. Again, I don't know. I actually really don't know at this phase, and that's okay. Right? We're just playing. We're just playing and seeing. So make sure you guys download the DT checklist app because just like you saw here in the steps leading up to kind of making some decisions myself in the design process and also just having an assistant with this nighttime Friday head of mine right now, it comes in handy, whether it's, you know, again, you pull it out and you look at it. It doesn't look like we need a few more updates on here, but it's in the process. So that's good, but it's super helpful. It's super helpful for helping you to kind of zero in and make some decisions, hopefully quickly. All right. Let me see what else we have here. Awesome, Cindy. I love that you picked up. Is that what you're meaning, the hexagons? I love that. Honestly, you won't go wrong with it, Cindy. I promise. I promise. I promise. I promise. I think I need some hearts over here, or stars. I keep calling them hearts. Forgive me. It's stars. It's stars that I'm looking for. So where is the other? Let's see. Or maybe I just keep that like pretty simple. I'm actually okay with it being simple. I do want to add some journaling. So I think what I'll do actually here, I'll use these little strips that I cut off my background as some kind of visual aid here, just for a quick reference. Oh, it does have starts on the back, so maybe I won't use that. Here's another scrap that I can use. This is a random scrap. Just in case I want to use those stars. Did I call it hearts again? My goodness, something is up with my brain. Stars, 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 stars. Got hearts on the mind. Actually, it was really cute. My daughter just got asked to prom tonight. It was so cute. So we spent a little time this evening before she had to head out, you know, trying to think of a cute way to say, like, thanks for asking me to prom, you know, those traditions. So maybe that's why hearts are on my mind, because I just literally stopped doing that with her before she left. But I feel like that would fill this space with my journaling. I had some journaling pulled together that I want to add to this page. Actually, it was some words that my uncle shared at the funeral, and I thought that I would add those to this page as well. I actually do have, random thought. I do have some pictures of my grandpa's funeral. I'm trying to decide if I want to, I just had the thought, sorry, stick with me for a moment. I'm like, do I want to put pictures of his funeral with these pictures? But you know what? I feel like they're two different memories. I'll keep his funeral pictures separate, but I should scrapbook those. Maybe I will. I already have the paper pulled out. It'll be similar as far as patriotic, most likely, because he had like the American flag on his casket and stuff. So I think that would actually work from an aesthetic point of view, these patriotic pictures or papers with those pictures too. But let's see how much scraps I have left over first. Okay, so I'm looking at this hexagon and I was like, you know what? One would be really cute. Let me move this to the side for a moment. Or I could do, or thicken it, right? I think we've shared this tip with the rings where you could do one in and of itself and then like another one, another color, and then the next one inside. Well, in this specific design that I'm doing, that's kind of what's going through my mind, knowing how the hexagons are designed. But then at the same time, I was thinking, well, I don't know, maybe like I can go jump down one size and kind of do that. And then fill in. Oh, I'm barely going to use any of my paper, guys. I was like, my goal was to use out these paper stashes, but I don't think I'm going to use too much. That's kind of fun. I kind of like the openness. I'm trying to decide if I liked the openness or the thickerness. So there's two tips that I was thinking about where you could just do these two together. So like if I wanted this to be thicker, okay, say I was going to trace this on my paper, I would just lay the larger hexagon on my paper, trace it out, and then place this one in the inside of it, and then trace the inside of this one. So you could extend or shorten your hexagons. I guess I should say shorten, meaning that you could just keep them as is, or you can combine them to kind of make them thicker if you want to do that. Unless you were just using the hexagon as a solid hexagon in and of itself. So there's like, that's what I mean about hexagons. There's just so many versatilities. I mean, this is true again, even for like triangles or rings or things like that too. So I don't know, I think that's really fun to play around with than like kind of the standard, you know, what it looks like. But I kind of like the openness of that too. So let me lay this on top again when I put my picture. And I'm actually doing this on purpose. I thought that was fun where it kind of went across the 2 page like that. So we'll give it a try. We'll see. I mean, you could always just slide it over. It doesn't have to go across your 2 pages. Oh, I like it, especially with 3 pictures, because I'm kind of limited to the 3 pictures, which I'm usually used to scrapbooking more than 3 pictures, but in this case, I am limited. I like it kind of starting here and extending out so they don't feel like they're so like lonely on one and to the other. It feels like the page is more united in that. I don't know. In theory, that sounded good, but it makes sense. So I feel like that's what I was feeling. I'm trying to express some thoughts that I have when it's used, but you can't always know for sure how to explain those. But I did feel that when I was scrapbooking, and something to kind of be thoughtful of. So scrapbooking this page at least. Okay. Yeah, I think that's really cute. It's really, really fun. I wanted to cover the inside of this, but I'm looking at this picture and I'm like, I feel like a lot of that's going to be covered because of the, so what if I took these 2 over here and stuck this one over here? No, it doesn't make a difference. I like starting with that 5x7. I feel like it's a really great, I don't know, it's just a really, it says a lot, right? The picture just really says a lot about that time and about the environment and all of this stuff. So we actually, I will be adding to this page too with my journaling. That's kind of why this project has been on my list, because there's a lot of little things that I want to add to it, like the journaling. I didn't want to forget about that. And so that's why I kind of put a kit together for it, so that I added it into my next projects. Usually when I put a kit together, these go-to layout kits, it usually means like, okay, I want to get to those soon. Do you know what I mean? So anyways, I put this together because I also have a video of my grandpa. We recorded a video of him just asking him questions. This was a few years back, but we just asked him random questions about his life, and we did ask him questions about the war and just things that he saw in his 100 years of life, really. So I'm so excited to add that video, and I just want to make sure that it is represented on a video, because I want to make sure that future generations can have access to that as well. So, all right, I don't know if I need much more. Isn't it funny how we do that? How sometimes we lay things out, and I think it's fine to play with it for 15, 20 minutes. I don't think you have to be too, hard on yourself. Like, this isn't like a race by all means, but at the same time, I think there is some value in saying I'm good as I continue to add stuff. Well, I was just thinking it would be nice to have, I kept looking for something here, but the hexagons are great that way too, because they add a nice dimension, but keep it still flowing across. And so I think that balance actually does help. So I'm okay with that. I like that. I like that. I'm not sure what this arrow is reaching to yet. I do want a title in here. So maybe I need to take a look at my paper now. I know that in this paper stash, I have some titles. I think this is really cute too. I definitely love that. I might add that as a layer here. And I really loved this freedom. Maybe I like this arrow better. Those are some of those last details, I'll be honest, that I usually come back to. I don't get too obsessed with feeling like every piece of my page is always figured out. If it comes together, that's always great. But like, I'm sitting here trying to think like, oh, I need to add a little bit more. Sometimes it's just good to start with that foundational. And then once you start getting those elements added, then you can start making or seeing, I guess, if you really do want to add anything else. Okay, let's check out what's in this scraps pile. It will be a little bit more work than, say, like complete 12 by 12 sheets of paper. I will say, I think in some ways that is easier, but I'm going to make these scraps work. Some of these papers are literally, this is from like a snap frame paper kit. It's like random scraps that I have from a snap frame. So it's just random. I don't even know what kit that was from. It's just blue. So I threw it in here. So like I said, this is just all scraps that I had. There's no way I'm going to use all this. There's just no way. But some of these have title cards, but I might just use the back because I have a lot of those that I never really got to using. Oh, I did love that. That was from a kit. That's really fun to cut out there. Maybe I'll use that. I'm just seeing if there is a title card in here. Oh, I actually like that one. Maybe I'll cut that into strips over here that I want to use. I'm just seeing if there's a title card that I want to use really quickly. And that will help me in my last kind of design, initial design choices. I think when you think of the initial design steps, I do always consider my photos as part of that initial design step because your title is also part of your design, right? Your photos are part of your design. Your backdrop is part of your design. That's why I always like to get a basic framework for my page, but then kind of just explore it as it unfolds after that. Okay, so like I said, lots of good sheets of paper in here. We'll see where it go. I actually am really glad I have this one because for the hexagons, because of their size, depending on if you're using the larger ones, you know, it's a little harder with scraps of paper unless you cut them into pieces. But so I'm going to take this and I'm going to trace these out. So I did skip a size in this. So because I didn't want to use both sides, so I'm going to skip a size really fast. And there's a pencil. And see from there. All right. So let's trace our hexagons out. For this specific design, I do want the outside edge. So I'm going to trace the outside one. And again, the beauty of it is I can actually do this live. Sometimes it's like, right, if you have to get up and down so many times, that makes it harder to actually scrapbook live, but I don't have to do that. I can actually just sit down and trace this out. I will say this larger one is kind of more awkward to hold. So you can see how my hand is kind of like trying to place it over. Maybe it's also because I'm leaning on my table, but the size is larger, but I think we got it. Okay. And then I doubled up here. I'm just going to erase that really fast. It happens. It happens. Okay. The next one I'm going to do is this one. So what I'm going to do here, just to make sure I place that right, is I'm going to take the next larger hexagon and I'm just going to hold that with the trace of my other one. I'm just kind of thinking as we go here. I actually don't need this one yet. I'm just going to trace the inside of that one. But technically, I'm not going to use number 7. Well, at least I didn't plan to. And we'll then place this other one in the middle and then trace that out. So like any of our nesting designs, anything that's created to nest inside of each other, you can use them so that you can use them as they are. Or, of course, if you were just doing a solid, you would just trace the outside and never trace the inside of them, right? But this design, I actually am trying to use them as open hexagons. So I'm going to start by cutting that out. And then I do like to keep any of these little pieces of paper because you never know, like you can get a star out of that or something until I feel like I'm finally done with my project or officially done with the paper theme in general. Okay. So you can see the hexagons take some of your paper, but let's be honest, we have a lot of paper, right? But it takes, you know, a good amount. Now, I did plan again to have these go across, and I might, because it's double-sided, I'll probably have the stars show up on one of them and then flip it and have the blue. I'll get to that here in a moment. Sorry, thinking ahead. So I have a section of this hexagon. Well, one, we're going to trim it here so that it flows over my 2-page layout. But anytime I use hexagons or rings and I want them to be open, my little tip is that you always, for the most part, have a piece that's tucked behind a photo or something. And in this case, it's like right here that it will be tucked. So the way I cut out the inside edges is very simple. It's just so simple. It's probably one of the most common questions we get, like, well, how do you cut out the inside of the nesting rings or hexagons, whatever shape it is that you're doing? That's our little tip. It's pretty basic, but I just snip in so that I can cut it out. And then where I snipped in, I usually cover it with a photo. It's usually covered in and of itself. But you could cover it with a flower if you're doing a page like that. And sometimes you can just also just glue it down together and you know no difference. All right, so now I'm going to do the next side in. I'm going to stick to the same spot here. Like I said, I didn't plan on using this next layer. I wanted the smaller one, but who knows? We'll see what happens. I am cutting it out, which that's okay. I'll put it in my stash, and if I don't use it on this layout, I'll use it on some future layout. But I did think it was fun to kind of waterfall those hexagons down. Okay. So here's the beauty of that. Like, right, if I was wanting this to be here, it's double-sided, so I could just flip that and then have the blue and then that pattern there, and so forth. But let's try the tip that we wanted to do as far as using some of these scraps up. I'm kind of determined to use at least a little of my scraps up. I don't think I'm going to make too crazy of a dent on my paper, but that's okay. There's more pages where that came from. Okay, so I'm going to put this to the side for a moment. So again, our initial idea here, whoops, hexagons intertwined. I think I might do where this is like this, and then this one is like this. And then I want to fill the insides with scraps of paper. I think that's what I'm shooting for. Pretty simple, right? Quick little foundation, and super fun. I mean, hexagons are just so fun, guys. They're just so fun. I often use hexagons. I don't usually like skip a size, tell you the truth. I love efficient use of my paper. So, but I'm okay with this. I don't think I want to use it anywhere else. I'm okay with this hanging out with the other scraps for another layout if I want to do that. But I might trim a few more to get these smaller sizes. We'll see. Again, not get ahead of myself. But I do want to play with the scraps because that was one of my other objectives. My objectives of this layout was, 1, I picked a layout, but then I wanted to use hexagons. And 2, I wanted to try to make a dent on these scraps of paper. So I'm going to put that over there for a moment. And let's patchwork basically the inside of this together. I'm just seeing all the colors that kind of match these ones, just because I don't really have a main pattern, not in this specific layout that I'm creating. So I'm kind of using these main patterns from my scraps to, I don't know, just add a little bit more to my page. Look at that. That's fun. Oh, so many scraps. Sometimes they're more of a nuisance to work with. That blue doesn't quite match the vibe, but I do like that plaid. That's actually really cute. You know, if this whole thing was showing another fun idea that I just had, but I'm not gonna probably. I was just thinking we could make an American flag out of our scraps inside of the hexagons. Don't you love when ideas come and you're like, okay, this was going to be simple, but that's also what's fun about creativity, is that if you allow yourself to play and it just to feel flow, like just to flow, then sometimes those things start to really come to mind and open up. And the more that you allow yourself to play, the more that creative muscle really does start to get used to the, oh, I know what we're doing right here. Like we're going to go step by step by step. So it starts to recognize what's happening and start saying, okay, like I'm familiar with this. I'm familiar with what we're about to do. And that's like neuron science. Like that's not just like Susan's gospel here, guys. It's like fact. So don't think that you're any different. I promise. You just got to be willing to let it kind of flex and also just be willing to play, which is why the designer templates are so beneficial, because it really does allow you to play your way to creativity. Okay. So I'm going to muse this for a moment because I'm like, it could be cute or it could totally turn out completely wrong. I'm trying to think if it will, like if you would be able to really see it behind this photo, right? So like, I'm trying to decide like if I have red, white, well, I guess it's more like white and red, right? And then let me just pull up an American flag, guys, so I can see it. Yes. Okay. I'm like, I'm remembering this correct, right? Red and white. So maybe I do the plaid and the white, and then I do, I don't know, like the blue in a square over here, and then some stars. Or should I just cover it? What do you guys think? Should I try for American flag inside of the hexagon? I just saw the papers and then that's what made me think of it. So I was like, well, we could venture off to that and see. I don't know. Kathy, how are you? Hope you're enjoying your Friday. I know, kind of sporadic Facebook Live here and on YouTube too, and in the community. I just kind of went to all the channels. Why not, right? Let's try it. I'm going to go for it. We're going to see how it turns out. Gotta love the lives. I'm trying to decide if I like the plaid or if I should just go more solid red. Because now that I'm looking at it, I think to maybe get a crisp, like, I'm trying to see what else. Oh, I have some more of that in my scraps. I'm like, what else do I have in my scraps? What else? Oh, that's like a blue. Well, there's like a cutout, which was, oh, that was for the snap frame. Okay, there's like a lighter blue. Yeah, all right. Paper trimmer, let's do this. Let's try it. Yes, Renee, the hexagons were originally released in 2020. Yes. So just know that they are the same ones. They just were unvaulted. So the hexagon size that I'm trying to cover inside of, I want to do my strips just a little bit larger. So I'm just going to go 6.5 inches to be safe. And then I'll trim up the edges. And then I'll probably make my strips, I'll do about 1 inch. So I'm just going to cut a few of those. And again, using your scraps of paper here, I'm not going to be too, I'm not going to be too concerned about the strips being exact. I want to keep this 12-inch intact, so I'm going to go this direction. I like to keep my 12-inch lengths always intact when I can. So for example, like I like to keep that at 12 inches just in case. I don't know, some future layout, because I've definitely got a lot of use out of this paper and I'm still going to have a lot left of this random scraps of red, white, and blue paper that I have. Okay, so let's go. We need some white strips there. So I feel like this is something, like I said, you could do with any types of strips. We're going to turn them into American flag, which is kind of a random thought, but we're going to try it out and go from there. But it's just kind of a fun way to almost wallpaper the inside of a hexagon, right? So like hexagon here. I don't know how many strips I'm going to need, so I'm just going to cut a few so that we have plenty to play with. And then I'm going to move this photo for a moment so that we can lay these out, right? So we're going to have red, white, red, white. Maybe I'll even overlap them a little bit. Red, white. And then, you know what's going through my head right now is I'm like, what kind of stars do I have? I might have stars enamels. I could just, I don't know, pencil some stars on there. Okay, so we have enough strips. Clearly, we have enough. All right, so I don't need all these ones, but I do need, I don't know, decide how big of a blue thing I want here and what color of blue. There's that blue. There's a lot of scraps of blues in here. So let me see. There's this darker blue. I mean, I don't think it really matters. They're all kind of coordinate because I'm just doing almost a red, white, blue, of course, theme. Nothing out of the ordinary as far as the color scheme goes, but let me just double check. No, I don't want that. I don't want that one. Okay. I think it's between those two. So I think I have more of this dark, so maybe I will choose to bring, I kind of like that shade though. But one quick more assessment of my stash of paper that I have here. Lots of little scraps. So I'm not sure how much I'm going to utilize of this, but what's on the back of these? Hold on. There's another, it's kind of that same dark blue. So maybe I'll go the dark. I'll go the dark on this. That's just a nice cream, which maybe I'll put some stars in. Again, that's the next decision. Okay. All right. Yeah, let's go the dark blue. All right, I need to ink these really fast. So what are we going to talk about, guys? What are we going to talk about? I'm so used to having music on or something, so I'm sorry. I'll try to keep you entertained while I ink these edges. But, you know, even though I don't have any pencil line on this, I still feel like inking is worth it. So I'm going to add a little ink because I think it will help with some of these just contrast and depth and all of that good stuff. It just adds a lot. So sometimes what I'll do, for whatever it's worth, like some people are like, I just don't like inking. Whenever I get to like an inking task, really, like, so for example, where I'm like, well, I can't really move forward until I ink this. I'll put some music on sometimes, just get lost in it, you know, not that you always have to have noise, right? We tell our kids to be bored. And honestly, in some ways you want it to be silent because that's really good for your brain and your mind as well. But I don't know. It's just really, again, it adds to the therapeuticness of it. It's just put some soothing music on sometimes. And that's really fun. Whenever I'm like cutting out a task or inking something, I just get lost in it. And that's also what we do in the PJ Playdates for the Kiwi Club. Mostly because that's what I do when I'm scrapbooking. So I'm like, this is what we'll do when we're scrapbooking together sometimes. Sometimes I'll even, this is kind of, again, I guess a little quirk about Susan, but I do this often where I'll put a song on and I'll like race against the song, meaning like by the end of the time that this song is done, I have to have this, this, and this cut out. And I kind of like, I don't know, race against the 4-minute song that's playing. And then I'm like, okay, by the time this song is over, I'm going to have these little tasks done. It just keeps me moving, keeps me energized in some ways. So totally random, totally random. All right. Last one. And yes, I know I get this question all the time and I see someone here. It's just vintage photo. This is the one. Vintage photo, as far as the color goes. So nothing special. Oh, I also need to ink in the inside at least of our hexagon because I'm going to be adding some layers to the inside of here. So I want to kind of add that. I don't know if you guys can hear their game. Their games are pretty loud out there. It's like some, I don't know, shooting game. My son and my husband, well, my son is gone, but my son-in-law is playing. Can you guys hear it? I don't know if you can hear it or not, but I'm just gonna ink the outside too while I'm at it. See, you just kind of get lost in it. Sometimes I forget. I'm like, oh yeah. I always feel bad. I think that's why I always apologize on live events, because I'm like, I don't know if they want to just sit here and watch me ink the edges. Totally get it. But if it's not worth inking, it's not worth doing. That's what Tim Holtz said once, and I always quote him on that because I was like, that's the truth. It's not really the truth. It's a preference. If you don't prefer it to ink, I totally get it. But I will tell you, inking always does help elevate your page. I think it does, for all of the reasons that I shared. Let's find, I would love to see this kind of like piece together as much as we can so that it becomes one piece instead of me messing around with all these scraps for who knows how long. So I'm going to start trying to put this together here. And let me start at the top. We'll start with a red stripe, right? Red stripe. And let's flip that over. And I'm going to trim off the edges when we get done. But I'm just going to kind of take, actually, I might just move it all down. Okay, go cream next. This is kind of fun. Like I said, I didn't start this page with this in mind, but the scraps kind of motivated me. Well, it inspired me. Let's double check it. How's it looking? Okay. And then, oh wait, what did I end on? Red? Okay. White. Now one side's going to be covered, so I want to make sure that if it's like tip to toe, that it's the other side. Is that going to look straight? Yeah, it's a little crooked. Hold on. Let me kind of eye that really fast. So again, this can be any types of scraps. Any type of scraps. It's just a fun, I feel like the best way to explain it is a wallpaper. Just kind of building a fun little wallpaper to go on the inside of your hexagons, right? And that was just one of the things that stood out with me, to me, in, like I said, in the community. I think Beth posted it, and then Linda also did it in the Kiwi Club. So it's just fun to see it done with different types of papers, and it's pretty amazing that even just a technique, not just a design, but even just a technique, you change the paper, of course, and it looks different. So we call it scrap lift, right? But in a way, it's just inspiration being what it's made to be, inspire each other. So however that inspires you, I guess, scrap lift away, really. And then let's do, I'm going to test it one more time. I'm just going to look to see if I'm on point. Okay. Yeah, we're still going. This side is the cleaner one. I just flipped it, but I think I might do that. I have this one little where I cut the thing out, right? Actually, I want that to be over here. Just kidding. I do want it to be over there. The other thing I'm going to have to do is cut that in half because I want it to go across the page. So we'll think of a solution for that, because once I do that, I don't want all these scraps to fall apart. We're going to figure it out together, guys. That's what the live is all about. So stick with me. But at the same time, it's kind of fun. I didn't have. Okay. Sorry, I have some glue right there that I want to go behind. There we go. I don't want it poking up for the front. Okay. I almost wonder if it almost would make my job a lot easier. Okay, I'm gonna get the strips down first, but I think I might cover it with another hexagon. Actually, not with that one, but maybe I'll just grab some white cardstock and cover it, tell you the truth. Because we are patchworking it, which is going to be really cute. I'm super excited with how this is turning out. Let me do the next one. And then the next one, our last one actually. I just want that to, yeah, I don't want it to come across. I don't want to deal with that. That's a nuisance. So we are going to now build this back up a little bit more because I rather it stay together when I cut it apart too. So white cardstock, let's see. Just some random scraps of cardstock that we might have. Where is my white cardstock? Ooh. Actually, that's a scrap. Is that big enough? Yeah. Looks like I cut it from some other hexagon. Is it enough to like do the task at hand that we have? I think it actually might. So I might utilize that scrap as well. Okay, so we need this to go this. Okay, here's what I'm thinking. This is what I'm thinking. Sorry, I'm like totally focused in. I'm not trying to ignore your guys' comments. These are the regular, Terry. These are the regular. I do have the mini somewhere. I always revert back to the regular. I did get the mini when they first came out because, you know, so many people were like, you should try the minis. And I did get them, but then I just like the original ones, I guess, if you can call them the original. So I have my cutout here. This middle one does not want to stick, which is why I keep having this problem. Hold on. Just need to add more adhesive, I think. But yeah, I like them. Like I said, I don't really use the mini ones. Even for detail work, I haven't found that it's easier for me. If I'm doing detail work, I just go to the tip of the scissors. So I think mostly because whenever I have scissors on like in hand reach, I just reach for what's right there. And I always try to have my Tim Holtz scissors handy, right? Unless my kids take off with them. That's usually, okay, come on, nails, let's work this out. Okay, there we go. So my next attempt here, I almost feel like this one needed to be a longer strip. It just does not want to attach right there. So 6.5 did not quite do the trick, except for in this middle piece. It's just holding on to it, but we're going to make it work. And like I could get some washi tape and put that there, but I don't see any. I don't really have washi tape right here, so we're going to move on. But I do want to cut out another hexagon, or at least a semi-hexagon that we can almost do a patchwork on the back here. So I'm just going to cut another one down to the size that we're using from this other scrap of paper. And do that. Hey.
Hi.
What you guys doing?
Oh, we just hit a stopping point. Because we're adults and we only play games for a little while.
Oh, is that true?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Now I shall go be productive for a while.
Productive. You gonna go create something?
I think so, yeah.
Oh,
A bit of writing, I think.
okay.
How's it going in here?
Well, I had this idea.
Okay.
I gotta wait because I gotta make sure it all comes together first.
Experimentation.
Well, I started playing with my scraps and I thought it would be fun to put this in as like a strips, like make it into a flag backdrop. So I'm adding some liquid glue all around this to kind of make it into a one piece. We're going to see if this, just one little, yeah. And then just kind of dotting it on here because I don't want to. Okay. And then we're going to put this over the backdrop here.
Okay.
And I need it for sure on the right side, but I'm just using scraps here. So I'm going to just do it with this little scrap of paper that I have. Okay. Give that a few minutes to dry, and now I don't have to wrestle. Hopefully, I don't have to wrestle with those little random scraps. Because yeah, and then I'm going to put a little, I guess I could have added that, but I can tuck that in. I don't think I'm too worried about that.
Oh, fun.
So then we're going to go ahead and trim off. That was kind of a random project, but unexpected, but fun. Super fun.
Taking the scenic route on our creative journey tonight.
There you go, my word guy. Let's see where the other one goes. Talking about, I really should go find. Oh, I actually still have, I think Mary's up in here somewhere, right? Oh yeah, so this is this one. Yeah, see? Oh, Linda's. See how she also did strips in the back of her hexagon there on that layout? That was a fun one too. Super fun. All right, guys, there we go. All said and done. It was a scenic route. That was kind of a fun scenic route. Actually, that's a really good way to explain it, babe.
Yeah.
You know, because yeah, in scrapbooking, you got to be able to, just like we want to take the scenic route sometimes in life, right?
Yeah.
You never know what you're going to discover. And see what you can come up with. I'm trying to decide how much I want that to go over. So take the scenic route sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes it's fun. Okay, let me put my page back together here because I had a heyday with it. Okay. Journaling strips. We're going to do something there, photo, some stars, photo. I actually kind of think I like the photos coming down a little bit. It gives a little bit more room here for our hexagon backdrop here. It's even really cute that way, but I'm going to try to add in the rest of our flag here and see what we can come up with. Oh, Melanie. I will tell him that that was very kind of you to say, but I'm saying because I don't know. I guess I wish your husband would do that. Have you ever showed your husband your pages? I mean, he comes in just mostly because he was helping me getting started. Usually he doesn't like engage with me when I'm scrapbooking all the time, but yeah, he's really supportive. I appreciate him. He understands the value of hobbies. He has hobbies himself. He also likes when I choose to go and take my time too, because then that also means he can go do his hobbies. So that's what he meant when he came in and he's like, I think I'm going to go do something productive now. So we'll see what he chooses to create. He likes to make maps. You guys just see some of the maps that he's drawn. That's a flow state that he likes to do creatively with his hands. He also writes, but that's like more mental, So he'll sometimes, from a flow state point of view, he'll just create maps of worlds that he thinks of in his head. So it's a very unique hobby, but he's really good at it. So, he's an X. Oh, okay. Well, support of each other. Hobbies are valuable. Hobbies are important. So I like that he has a hobby. I love that I have a hobby. I love that he also knows the value of hobbies. We talk about hobbies a lot in this house because they're super valuable. That's so cute, guys. I just keep looking at the hexagon almost like I'm done, but I'm not really done with this page because I feel so satisfied with it. I'm like, oh, look okay, I'm done, but I'm not really done. So let's finish it to the end zone here. Let's finish it to the end zone. I want to go see if I have star enamels. Otherwise, I'm like, I could draw them on there. Believe it or not, I do not have a star punch. I don't have a star punch. I have a little heart punch, but as we learned from the beginning of this, like it's not hearts, it's stars, Susan. I could fussy cut these stars if I have to. This is what I consider fussy cutting. Like when people call like the Kiwi way, they're like, oh, that's too much fussy cutting. I'm like, like I feel like it's productive and efficient of your paper, but also productive because you don't have to get up and down. So that's a value to me. But fussy cutting would be like cutting those stars out if I have to do it. So unfortunately, I do have to get up to go see really quickly because my mind won't settle unless it knows if I have enamel dots that are stars. And then if not, I will revert to fussy cutting. So hold on, give me a second. Hold on. Connect with each other in the comments, guys. Connect. I could try, I guess not. Well, I think it's cute with stars. I have Mickey Mouse heads. That's funny. I have Mickey Mouse heads. You think I would have stars? You really do. I mean, I could just do white dots. I don't know. I'm trying to decide if I want to do that or if I really want the stars on there. Good night. It's Friday night, right? We got all night. Well, not really. Well, my body doesn't let me go as late as I used to. I remember the nights where I would put the kids to sleep. Sometimes when they were younger, and I would just stay up till like past midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. But now, I don't know. I'm always like, I need sleep. I need sleep. Although I do still find myself sometimes. Or if I go to a crop, which again, it's always fun to go to crops with friends because they help you stay awake. Keep you going, right? Keep you going. All right. I'm trying to decide how big I want that too. Let's do that big. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually take my hexagon again, just so that it kind of gives me that guideline. And I'm just going to trace that. Okay. And then cut that out. And go from there. I could draw the stars. I could draw them. You know, those aren't too complicated. I am not an artist. So that makes me a little hesitant. Not an artist like that. But that could be fun. And then I actually think I want that to line up with this red stripe. So who just got home, Dave?
Huh?
Who just walked in the door?
Lacey, she brought a couple people back with her. They're not quite ready to be done yet. So.
Oh, they're gonna watch something or do something in there?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, it's kind of fun. Okay, let's adhere that. Let's adhere that down. I might just fussy cut some stars out, guys. Let me do one of them really fast. I won't keep you guys on for all the fussy cutting. Like that would be, oh, there's also stars in this paper. That's kind of cute too. Do I have any like small scraps of that? Oh, here's a small scrap. Okay, let's see here. Super tiny. And oh, I should have just detached this. This is some fussy cutting. So maybe those small scissors would come in handy, but for the most part, actually it's just my nails trying to grasp this. Ooh. Oh, it's kind of cute. I might have to do it. I might have to do it. It looks like little dots to you guys, but I think it could work. I just gotta cut all these little stars out. But I do have the scraps to do it with. So as far as the paper goes, I'm not concerned about that. It's actually a great way to use up even your scraps in a different way, right? It's just, are you willing to fussy cut sometimes as needed? I'm gonna do one more. I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna get all the stars, but I'll get a lot of stars on there. There's no way I'm gonna add all the stars of a flag on there anyways, but that's kind of cute. Okay. All right, well, now that I have that kind of decided, I'll come back to that part of the page and we'll decide on the next step. And then, let's see. Then I really just need to add my pictures and these other elements. So let me do that. Let me do that. You know, Pam, that's what I was saying. Like, my husband is supportive of hobbies. He loves me having a hobby. I love him we just love hobbies in our house. We encourage our kids to have hobbies for all of the reasons that I share with you guys all the time too. But I mean, if you ask me, I think that scrapbooking is like the best hobby in the world. But no, if I finish a page, I have to be like, hey, come look at what I did. I'm with you, Pam, on that. Same thing. Actually, sometimes if I don't say that to him, he's like kind of offended sometimes. He's like, you didn't show me this page. Like, you never showed it to me when you were done. And I was like, oh, I guess just added it to the finish pile. But he's, yeah. Yeah. Good stuff. I have this scrap paper here. So I'm going to cut this out of this scrap of paper. I think it's just a good color. The red. I will say that's kind of what's nice about just this kit that I put together of all these random scraps, right? Because it is red, white, and blue in its theme. It really allowed me to pull multiple, like this, all these papers didn't come from the same collection, for example. It's just when I was going through my paper stash, I just threw it all together for these specific pictures that I knew eventually I wanted to scrapbook. So I guess what I'm saying is it's kind of nice because even though they're slightly different reds or different blues or something like that, but because they are red, white, and blue, they all kind of work together in this case. Even though like this red is slightly different than that red because they weren't 100% from the same kit, it still works. It still works. So, and I'm even thinking, looking at this, where are we at? Like 1 hour? I mean, I don't have anything else on my agenda tonight, so I'll try to make this as quick as possible, but hopefully you guys, I'm not keeping you too long either. I was looking at this thinking, I don't know, maybe we draw some stars on the back of this paper because whenever I have a dark background, I think that's always fun too, to, you know, add that, trace designs onto the back of your paper. Anytime I see a dark background that I'm working with, I always think of that option to trace on the back of the paper as well, because it's just fun. It's just another fun little basic technique. Like, again, nothing fancy, but it's just a fun other way to use your designer templates, but also a basic tool like a doodling pen. Not too complex, but a fun way to kind of add to your page as well. So I was just looking at that thinking that could be a fun option, is add some little stars to the backgrounds. And then cut these stars out. Might even throw some stars over to this right side now that I'm done with this side. I think another star probably over here. I thought about this smaller one right here, so I might do that. Yeah, I might do that. Okay. And then let's see. What would that look like if we had a traced out star there. That's kind of cute. It's a little scary sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. I feel it too, just for whatever it's worth. I feel it too. So just make sure that you have you're very comfortable with your pen that you're gonna doodle with. And I always just check the bleeding of the pen, making sure that it's like actually, like this one is not continuing its tracing. Now it is. So usually I just wipe the ball of it just to see. You know, you can also lick the ball. That's also a go-to option to get the pen working. I don't really like that one. Let me try the other one. So if you're using a dark background, none of my pens want to. Maybe it's the paper. Let's see. Okay, there we go. If you're doing a dark background, then maybe a white pen. If you're doing a light background, a white pen. But it's just kind of a fun way that maybe if you feel like you have little space you want to fill, but you don't want to add another bold layer, then sometimes doodling can help break it up without adding that other pattern paper or color to your layout. So I'm using the template to kind of look at how the shape would look if there was like, say, another star there in that spot. And so that's what I'm doing. And then I'm going to keep that star there. And then we're going to just use it now as a guiding tool. Come on. Maybe I'm getting to the end of this white pen because usually it's nicer than this. Oh, there it goes. And this one is more like liquid. I wanted it to be a little thicker. I'm licking the thing because I need it to, I don't know, get wet or something. So I don't want to move that star till I'm done. I will say that it's nice not to move it, but move everything else out of its way. And okay, I'm going to that minute to dry is what I was trying to get to. Sorry. Sometimes multitasking is not the best on my late brains, but I'm going to give it 2 minutes to dry because I guess there have been more often times than I like touched it and it's smeared. So definitely sometimes just let it set for a moment. And then we'll move it and we'll see what it looks like with the other layers on top of it. So super fun. Okay. I figured I might as well ink this edge. Whew, it's warm. I'm warm. I don't know if it's the lights or if it's inside or if it's my sweater. Am I like red? I am a little flushed. Oh, okay. Now I'm going to pick it up and pop it up. There we go. See, it's just kind of fun. Just kind of fun little something behind that you can add. But I'll probably, I don't know, add another one over here to kind of balance it. I think it could use it, but I'm going to add my photo. I feel like I need to see the photos into here now. And then, let's see. Oh yeah, I was trying to decide if I need to matte those, but I definitely think I need to matte those pictures. They just need a little bit more substance to kind of help it stand out. Lots of that kind of playing into the frame here. Let me see. Let me grab some more white paper. I'll just grab another. Actually, do I have scraps? I have like this whole thing of like random white scraps of paper. And then I just keep, of course, whenever I cut in, because I often mat pictures with white just because it does help bring those to the forefront. Granted, I don't know if I have a big enough sheet. No, maybe that piece. Well, if I mat those pictures, I need to match the other side though too. And maybe I'll just pull out a new sheet. Maybe I'll just pull out a new sheet here. These are all little small ones. They're just little small leftovers. They're also great for journaling. So that's kind of why I keep all my white scraps together, because I often reach for those little white scraps. That's actually the only color I do that with is white. I don't really, I guess I just don't use black as often as, like for matting pictures, I don't often use it. Okay. Let me pull one out here and we'll see. I don't want that. I don't want that color. I kind of liked the creamer color. Yeah. Figure it out. We'll figure this out then. We're going to go all scraps across the board. It was kind of my goal anyways. So I think this can benefit. I definitely think it will help to have a nice little frame on this. So let me, whoops, see here. Add that. I don't want it to be too big because I just wanted it to be a little small, simply because I don't want it to cover too much of our American flag that we just created in that as well. Okay. There we go. I probably should have cut that before, but I'm going to go with it. Okay. Look at all these white scraps of paper and other papers that I'm using. I need to center that a little bit better, which is why I use this easy. I know everybody has their own adhesive, but I stick to this easy 3L adhesive because I like that I can lift it and place it again. It's pretty forgiving, and it also lasts the years, meaning my pages don't fall apart after like years of being in my albums. That was a hard lesson, using like cheap adhesive and your albums, your pages fall apart in your albums after like, I don't even know how many years, 5, 6, I don't even know how many years it was, but they did. Some of my early pages, I was like, oh yeah, this adhesive's cheap, right? Like back in, I don't know, 2007, 2005, whatever, I switched, all those pages fell apart. I had to go back and adhere them all. It was a nightmare. So I'll never make that mistake again. So if you're a new scrapbooker, and I'll just tell you right now, that is a lesson. You just don't go for the 99-cent adhesive. It just is not, you get what you pay for. In other words, like it's not great. Not great. I don't even think it's 99 cents, but you get what I'm saying. All right. Then over here, we have these other two pictures, and I want to also, let's mat those as well. Did you guys experience that? Like, have you ever experienced where you're, please tell me, like, I'm not the only one who made that mistake, because I was pretty sad when it happened. Okay, that's not quite gonna fit. We need a different scrap of paper. I don't want to trim these down anymore. I don't want them to be smaller than what they already are. Those are all too clean. Okay. Yes, you guys did? Oh, good. Because like I said, yeah. It's a little off, but that's okay. One's a little creamer than the other one. Like one's a little bit more whiter. That's what I'm looking at. You guys probably can't tell, but I can tell. Like one's a little bit more white than the other one. So I actually really like the whiter one. It's like the minor little detail. Probably shouldn't care, but I do like the whiter one. So let me just see if I have the scrap. If not, but I kind of want to use my scraps tonight. I kind of want to try to use as much as I can. Yeah, they're all a little creamer. Okay, we're going to go that route. We're going to go that route. Whoops. Okay. Yeah, Lisa. Thank you. Yes. Don't skimp on the adhesive. Exactly. Just don't do it. You'll regret it. I'm going to trim this down because this one is already, it was already the size of a 5x4, maybe slightly larger. So I'll trim both of these down to a 4x5. I'm just looking at this. I think I might take a little off the top, a little off the bottom. So I'm just going to take this black pen because this picture is black and white. So I need it to stand out so I can trim that down. So yes, the photo set's not only a great designing tool, they're also a great cropping tool. So, right, not only are they great for helping you to figure out where to place your pictures, but and feel confident before you trim your pictures down, which is why a lot of times I will sometimes save my photos towards the middle of my page just to make sure that, the scenic routes that we took actually play out before I start cutting into my pictures. Because I just want to make sure that the game plan that we put together stays the game plan, because sometimes it changes in the middle of it. And that's part of the creative fun of it as well. Yeah, these pictures need a little pop too. This one's a little bit more yellow, but I'm going to stick with it because it's what I have. So again, I have these 3 pictures and I'm glad that I have them. Actually, so like I said, these 3 pictures, Deborah Johnson, we were just talking about this, but these are really good examples actually, Deborah. I took a picture of the picture to print the picture because nobody has the negative, the original. And at the time, my aunt was scanning pictures in, but she didn't have this one, or maybe she did scan these in, now that I'm thinking about it. I can't remember, but I've definitely taken pictures of pictures before. One, because if I'm at, say, a relative's house, which I've been at, and they have pictures that I don't have, I just put it in good lighting and take the picture of the picture so that I can have my copy without being too demanding of their time, because scanning pictures in can take some time too. And so sometimes I just want to make sure that, again, I have my own version, my own copy, because it's hard to make sure that everybody has a copy when it comes to these kind of pictures. But that's the value of scanning them in, I guess. You can share the file with everybody and then they can all have access and do what they want with them. So, okay. There we go. I love adding my pictures to a page. I love that kind of quick, I don't know, just feeling of the page really, really starts to come to life, right? Because literally you're adding your memories to it. So the life is now added to the page. The life memories are starting to be represented and all of that stuff. Okay. All right, move this honking old huge thing. So as far as this hexagon going across this page, because I do still like that, I actually think I might move this one I don't know. I kind of liked that there. But I wanted this one to be upwards, right? Anyways, I think I might just trim that because I do, yeah, I still like it going across the page. So here's like not too complicated way to do that. This one I kind of like that it's from point to point. So you know what? This is just, I'm just going to hide this so I can see what's going to show on the other side before I cut it. Yeah. So just so you can see what happens when you trim it. So on this one, whoop, my little 2 die cutted stars. Let me move those to the side. And I think I'm just going to take a paper trimmer. Let's see if my paper trimmer can do it. Carefully. I'm just going to go from point to point on my hexagon. So those 2 points there, I'm going to, ooh, I don't think it can. It's too thick. Nope. I don't want to ruin it. So we need a ruler. This trimmer is great, but it's also really bulky. Oh, let me go get my other ruler. Let me get my other ruler. Hold on 2 seconds. Hold on. My classic ruler. I actually stole this from my kids at some point. I don't use it often, but in this case, it's going to be in handy because I'm just going to trace a line. And we are going to cut that. And since we added a back to this, and I made sure that this scrap part was not on that side because I knew I was going to cut this side, it should stay together. So hopefully none of my pieces fall apart. Like crossing my fingers, guys. Oh. In theory, that was my thoughts on also why I chose to add that backing to the strips so that when I did this to cut it apart to go across to 2-page, it stayed together. Awesome. And I could clean those up with just a little ink. Sometimes when it spreads across, I don't like to ink it at that point because I like that it doesn't have a finished look to that inside because it's kind of meant to be a 1. I'm trying to decide. I think I might add it. Just a soft glaze. Not a top, but just like a straight glaze across. Just to kind of blend those cut marks together. Yeah, that works. Okay. Oh, cute. Cute, cute, cute. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing with my other hexagon. So I stop pulling it apart. Let me get that lined up. And I'm just going to trace it and trace it. I'm going to end up with actually, now that I'm looking at this, 3 pieces because this is where I made that mark. I guess I could have just made a mark when I did my trimming right there, but this part will be hidden like I talked about. And right there. And I never inked this, I can tell. I never inked it and it doesn't look finished because of that. Let me do a quick ink job on this one. Cut out my last few stars over here and then I'm done. I will say it was a nice little surprise. It really was. I knew I wanted to use my scraps. Didn't really use a lot of my scraps. Still have a lot of scraps left over. But that was a fun little discovery of making it into a flag. Random live. I kind of got the itch. Sometimes when I do that, I'll keep the same papers out, the same templates out, and I'll pull out some other pictures that can kind of use the same vibe, which is why I was like, maybe I should pull out my the funeral pictures of my grandpa and just finish those at the same time. I'll have to find some more 12 by 12, well, backing paper, which I have. Okay, and then last little piece. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and adhere these down too so that I don't have to keep moving them around, just to make it a little bit easier on my part. Okay. Let's use our liquid adhesive here, since these are kind of thinner strips. I'll place that one down. Next one. Line that back up. Place that down. And then we'll take the next one. Guys, I'm telling you, this is just like one of many pages that I've created with hexagons already. And I mean, I created with hexagons a lot when we first initially released it, but now with the unboxing, I find myself just like whole new pages and whole new looks and whole new designs and whole new ideas. Like just so many options, so many options that just, you know, that the hexagons in themselves inspire, that playing to create inspire, just so much fun. I'm going to grab some pop up. These stars need a little bit of an elevation, a pick me up. Elevators, I think is what Lee calls them. I call them pop-ups, but still, they do elevate just a little bit. So satisfying. I love pop-up. It's probably the most, the thing that I use most. I don't even know. I guess outside of paper. I use paper the most when it comes to supplies. Let the paper do the talking. Okay. And then we'll do this other side here. Actually, let's go ahead and adhere our flag down too. I'll do this next one. So you could do this strip, like this, filling in the strip in the inside of a hexagon, for example. Like we could do it over here too. Like we can mimic the same kind of design concept, but you can do it with any hexagon, any size. You could do it with the circles, which we've actually done. I've done that before where the layout's coming to mind. I can see it in my head. That was a really fun layout. Where I took the circles and I did like multiple border waves inside of the circles, but it was all inside the shape of the circle. That was a fun page. That was a really fun page, actually. Again, you can use your scraps to really just pull in and do those strips. Okay. And then over here, we're going to do another hexagon. This, definitely another hexagon here. And we'll do our journaling, have little arrows to our journaling. And I think that's good. I don't think I have to, I don't know. Sometimes when I get to this point, when I was talking about details, like that's what I started initially starting with. And then I thought, well, maybe I need a little bit more. But then I went back to, well, I'll just see as I start adding pieces if I need more. So usually when I get to this spot on my layout, I think, do I need more? But I don't really know if I do. So I don't know. I really don't feel like it needs more. I think it actually brings a lot of attention to the photos themselves. And yeah. So let me add let's decide what patterns and colors we're going to cut out of that. So what usually helps me in selecting other patterns is I just look at what I've already used and how I can pull stuff over here. So what I've already used is this blue. I could definitely pull that over here. So I have this sheet of paper and I could take one of these designs, let's say the hexagon, and I can trace that out of the same blue and pull that over here. Let me add that. And maybe we'll do the other one too, since we can get both of them out of this same little hexagon here. If I keep them opened, which I think I want to do. Okay. So I'm going to detach it from these other scraps. And I'll just add more scraps to the scrap pile. And then again, so when usually often you want to just cut in, it's like a piece that's hidden. So I'm just going to cut in on that. And honestly, on the hexagons, because you can rotate it, right? Whether you rotate it here or here, just cut in one of the sides and then tuck the side that you cut in to something else. Like so. What I was trying to decide, maybe I should keep this one as a solid. I don't know. So again, I don't have to cut the inside out. I could just keep this one solid and then that one a ring, an open hexagon. And then do that there. Maybe the smaller one here. Okay, so then I have to cut these two pieces and this out. So then again, I kind of come over here and I say, well, I used a dark blue, for example. I could pull that dark blue over here, and that helps me just kind of make some of those, executive decisions, basically. So I could take the same pattern and add something over here. I thought about doing it blue here, but here's when I'm pulling stuff over, not only do I like to pull the patterns from left to right, but also I think it's valuable to pay attention to top or bottom heavy. So if I put the blue here, then my blues are both top heavy. So if I bring the blue down here, then I also balance the flow, right? Like I make it kind of flow downwards and across. So you want it to flow across and you want it to kind of like, the whole thing. Really, you want it to kind of do a full circle. So I think a dark blue down here actually would be nice. So where's another red? I don't think I have any more of that same pattern, but I have more red. So let's do that red over here. And then maybe what I'll do is the cream and pull that up here. Okay. Hopefully that helps. Honestly, it's similar, the same framework in my scrapbooking method and approach, and it just helps. It helps to kind of have that process that you can depend on and that framework, and you don't really have to feel off, that you have to reinvent it or I've always found it to be super satisfying and super rewarding. So it often does the trick. I used to feel all the time like, oh, I need to really think differently, try all the new tricks or techniques or fancy things or stuff like that. And, I definitely went through a lot of that too, but now I like to get stuck in the flow state. For me, that's super beneficial to allow my mind just to kind of take a break for a minute, relax. So having that framework really helps relax my mind. Even though I'm doing them live and my mind gets a little, because of that. But despite that, it's still, because I have the framework, it helps. I don't think I would be able to do lives without some sense of a framework. I think I'd be a hot mess. I'm a hot mess right now. It's really hot, but I think I would be a really hot mess. Oh my goodness. I don't know how many, techniques out there that you can actually just let it unfold in front of you without really too much of a game plan. I'm looking for my pop-up. What did I do with my pop-up? What did I do with my pop-up? I must have put it in my pile over here. I'll get some more pop-up, I guess. Okay, there we go. And then we got to ink this one too. I'm just going to finish my inking. I'm going to finish the page. We're going to do it. We're just going to finish it all the way. Oh yeah, the glue press is great. Yes. Linda introduced me to that. I mean, when it first came out, it was kind of like, everybody was kind of talking about it, because otherwise when you work with liquid glue, it's always awful. It's like never wants to come out, right? And so yeah, this glue press really helped with that. It's like one of those things you're like, why didn't I think of that? I used to avoid liquid glue because it was so annoying, and I don't use it on a lot of things, but like the little details, it comes in handy. And if you do a lot of fussy cutting, or if you do even sometimes cards, liquid glue is often super helpful for that. But yeah, this thing definitely is great for that. And then we'll do, again, I think I'm just going to cut the star out. I wasn't planning on doing the whole thing. I just wanted that little star. So we're just going to do a little, I guess you could call this part fussy cutting. It's a little tiny. And I actually have a new template. I'm not going to show it to you guys, that I plan on using on this page. So I actually needed to scrapbook this page too, because I wanted to add this new template on it. And so I've been having that in my mind, like, where am I going to place this new template? And I have a spot in mind, but you guys will have to really wait till it's released to see it officially on the page. Is that not just a teaser or what? But yeah, we'll be sharing more details next week on that. Well, that star looks a little small now that I'm looking at it. I think maybe I did need the circle. It just feels a little out of place. Okay, let's cut that circle out of this. Just looked a little insignificant there, like not quite hitting the spot. I thought maybe initially when I saw it layered that I just would want the circle, but maybe I didn't. Maybe I liked it because it did have the circle. Or just the star, right? Ink it. It will blend it all together, because that's definitely not a perfect circle. But the inking camouflages it. Oh yeah, that helps just to give it a little bit more. Okay. And then pop-up. We need pop-up on this guy. Little pop-up there. Little pop-up there. I'm actually going to bend these. I do this with my flowers. I'm going to definitely do it with my stars a little too. I just like a little bit of, just a little texture. And then I'm debating on this because most likely my strips will be white that I add journaling to. And I'm just looking at this arrow and that next to it and thinking, I don't know about that. Like, it'll just be so much white with the white. So from a color point, so I talked about the balance. The other often go-to is the trio, where you do like a triangle 1, 2, 3 with your colors 1, 2, 3. So when that applies, it's nice symmetry to your eyes too, right? They're just like design go-tos, whether it's balance or trios, triangle trio. So I'm just trying to think. I think the red, I don't want to do the red. Maybe I do the dark blue now that it kind of has the flow. It's a little bold, dark on that. So that's why I'm like hesitant on it. What about the blue? Just kind of keeps it soft, not too demanding. Well, I don't know about that either. Maybe if I did one blue, one this, you know what? Maybe I should do a red, white, and blue. Let's do that. Let's try it. Let's do 1, 2, 3. We'll see if it's too crowded. And this is where right at the end, I'm telling you, right at the end, you're like, oh, I'll add just another little extra layer or add another little thing. I think these on the military suit, I think they go downwards, huh? Not sideways. We'll try it here in a moment. I'm trying to remember. I don't know if this has a name, this shape. I'm sure it does. Let's see if I add a few here. Do I like that? Do I think I need it? That's the question. I actually think I might just like to, I was thinking about red, white, and blue, but I think I'll just do 2 blues. Okay, I'll cut one more and call it good. And then I think I've hit the end zone on this page. That was fun. I'm glad I jumped on because, like I said, I wasn't necessarily thinking I would have time to scrapbook tonight. But it was a nice little surprise, nice little break. And ink the edges. Is that what it's called? A gold arrow? I think it is, Dolores. Yes, that sounds about right. The suits. Usually they're across the shoulders, right? I'm trying to imagine it in my head. Like I feel like I have another picture where my grandpa has them on his thing. Actually, my sister sharing little medals that he won. I think my uncle has those medals, though. He inherited those medals when my grandpa passed away. But yeah, there we go. One last thing, I'm looking at balance, even though I'm going to have lots of little journaling here, actually probably more than this because I have lots of journaling to add. So that's kind of feel that is I'm looking like maybe I want to add one more star. I don't know. Maybe I want to add a star to the backdrop here. Let me test this out in theory with my template. I almost wish I had a star between the star of the sizes of the stars. I could do a small star. I can actually trace a small star in the center of those too, or do another star popped up. Those are the details. This is what I'm saying. But if you have the scraps of paper, sometimes why not? Like, I could pop up another star on those, right? And it would add like an extra layer. Why not? I'm trying to decide. I definitely liked, I don't know, maybe I'll keep that one like this. Do that here and then add a little star inside of those two. But my initial question was, should I trace a backdrop? Another star, does it just look like it gets lost? If I move this up a little bit, and this is where like sometimes it helps to look down at your page, like stand up, look down. I don't know, I just don't like how it's fitting. It could come off the side though, like as if it's coming off through the page. I don't like that either. Arrow pointing on the military suit. Yes. Yes. All right. Maybe up here. I wanted to balance it from left to right. That's why I was amusing in the far corner here. But I could move this up a little bit. I don't know. And that's just a half there, so technically I could cut that off. I'm just thinking, sorry, just thinking here. I don't mind it at that spot. I think I finally found a spot. So now I'm just trying to decide like if I like it that it's coming off the page. Oh, I don't know if I mind it. Yeah, that's what I was trying to share. You should draw one there. That's what I was thinking. Oh, there's my check-in with the kids alarm. I think Lacey's already home, so that's good. Okay, let's draw it. So where's my pen? The pen, again, we're just gonna go for it. Again, I totally get it. Drawing on the backdrop feels like your background does feel sometimes very intimidating because in your mind, you're thinking, if I draw it and I don't like it, you just, your backdrop, you just ruined it. You didn't ruin it. You just might have to cover it, or that's where those creative mistakes, I guess, create new opportunities. So I don't know if you can call it really a mistake, right? Except for if I smear this, I won't be happy either. So that's why I always say trace it. And even if you feel confident in the pen that you're using that it won't smear, because I've felt that way sometimes. I'm like, oh no, this pen doesn't smear. I've always just waited. Just give it a moment to dry, because I've told myself that and then lifted it and it did smear. So again, we're just gonna we'll let that sit for a moment. Make sure that comes off the page. Okay, and then I did decide to do a few more layers, just bear with me. We're going to, I think I might do the dark, because the dark now flows like that, and that's okay with me. Or maybe, let's see, dark. Yeah, I like the darks. Okay. Did I put that template back somewhere? Where did I put that? I try to usually put them back in the thing. I think I'm just getting too excited, getting ahead of oh, it's right in my hand. Oh my goodness. I was like, where is this template? And it's right in my hand. Oh no. That is the first. I'm not gonna lie. That is definitely the first, guys. Feel free to laugh. Oh my goodness. And then we'll do another one. Oh, that's right. I still have to cut out all my fussy cutting stars. All my lovely stars that I have to cut out of that paper. I'll put a music, a song on, and cut out those fussy stars to an upbeat song. something inspiring. But there we go. And then one more star. I'll ink these, move my star, and then I think we did it. Well, I got to add my new template onto here, but I'll let that be a surprise for coming soon. For coming soon. Get a little coat, just a nice little coat. Pop up. We need to put some pop up on those. Nice little coat. I could doodle on these stars. I thought about doodling around them. I don't know if this page I want to doodle actually. I think I like the crispness of the patterns. So I don't think I'm going to doodle there. And then let's do add our pop-up though. And then I think, is that it? We're done? Or I need a smaller pop-up. There we go. Okay, there we go. Well, guys, I had the goal to use my scraps of paper, but this paper, there's still a good amount of scraps of paper left. So more pages to come, more future, route, little traveling down and discovering and seeing what we can create. But it's fun to see these pictures on a page. It's fun to see them on a page. I'm excited to use the journaling, add that to my page, and this new set coming out. Well, this new template that's coming out soon. I'm going to add that to this page too because I think it'll look cute. Hopefully, we'll see. So I'm going to add those little and then fussy cut my stars. So the fussy cutting of the stars, that's the one that I'm like, okay, wish me luck. No, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Where did my little stars go? Right here. Yeah, they're little itty bitty stars. And where did my paper go that I'm cutting it out of? Oh, here's some. I'll get those cut out. Like that. All right. Oh, I'm so happy with this page. Yeah, it makes me just appreciative. I'm very appreciative of my grandpa, not only for the service that he gave to the country, but also just for the example that he was to me in my life. And just, he was honorable. He was just an honorable guy, and I appreciate him. So I feel appreciative. And that's the beauty of scrapbooking. It always leaves you feeling something: gratitude, appreciative, love, happy, whatever those emotions are. And they're always good emotions, right? Even the hard moments, they, although they have mixed emotions, right? Like when we scrapbook pictures of people that maybe we've lost and other things, which we're going to talk a lot more about here in the coming weeks, but there's still this reminder of like how much you loved them, right? And I think that's what I think of too. And I look at these pictures of my grandpa, who has passed away, but in that I also look and I'm like, he lived a really good life. And I was appreciative of the example of what he lived and shared and showed to me as well. So, oh my goodness, guys, thanks so much for hanging out with me this Friday. Like I said, totally random, not expected, but I appreciate you guys jumping on. If you were scrapbooking along with me, hopefully you're kind of finishing your own page. If not, put some music on, put some happy music, get lost in it, finish the page, and then I want to see it. So share it in the community because I want to celebrate that finished page with you as well. So you guys are awesome. We will talk soon. Jacqueline, what did you say? I'm just looking at it. I love that, Susan, you always feel something as you create and after you have created a page. So many emotions, so much love. Yes. Again, scrapbooking is the best hobby in the world. It is such a good hobby. It not only allows us to be creative, but it also fills us with so much. And I think that's a super powerful thing to remember and to appreciate, right? It's not just about finishing those pages. It's also about reliving those moments, but also soaking it in while you scrapbook those memories, while you relive those memories, while you reflect on those memories. I mean, we all like to finish our pages, but don't get so lost in the finishing of the pages that you forget to enjoy the creation of the page in and of itself and all of that represents for your memories, right? And for yourself, your own health, hope, and happiness as well. So you guys take care. We'll check in with soon. Have a wonderful weekend if I don't talk to you anytime soon. And we will definitely see you in the community. All right, guys, keep playing to create. Bye now.